Hello YouTube, it's Final once again bringing you a video about the GreatSword talents and abilities. So yeah, I'm just going to go through the talent tree, show you what's coming and let you decide. I'll also put a link in the description down below where I've got the talent tree from, so you can go and have a play with the calculator and see for yourself. So let's take a slight deeper delve into the GreatSword and its talent trees. So as we know, we've got the Onslaught and the Defiance stance. All on cooldown of around 10 seconds, we're presuming. Obviously, everything is down to change, because this is only on the PTR. This weapon is Strength and Dex 50-50, so it's the first weapon that is going to use 50-50 from Strength or Dex, so you can go full Dex, full Strength, or a mix of both. It's completely down to you. But let's have a look at what they do and what skills we're going to potentially get when it comes live. So let's have a look. So the path of Onslaught, after using the ability of Onslaught tree, enter Onslaught stance for 10 seconds, as said before. The Onslaught tart properties are outgoing damage increased by 20, damage taken increased by 20, and quick charge. Heavy attacks charge twice as fast but consume 10 stamina each. That's pretty decent. Entering Defiant stance or switching weapons will immediately end Onslaught. So if you're using a mix of both, obviously, if you use an Onslaught ability and then use a Defiance ability, it's going to swap from the Onslaught, Path of Onslaught, to the Path of Defiance. But we'll go over the Path of Defiance in a minute. So let's go through all the skills. Giant Slayer. Increase base attack damage by 20% when attacking foes above 90%. Okay. Heavy Blade. Charge heavy attacks have 15% armor penetration. Aggressive Shift. Enter Onslaught stance by hitting with a charge heavy attack. Okay, that's quite cool. This effect only occurs even if the attack is blocked. So that's going to get you into the Onslaught stance. Lovely jubbly. Critical Comeback. Become energized by landing a critical hit and regain 5 stamina and 5 base health per second. Okay, so a bit of a life increase and some stamina. Crush the Weak. Critical hit chances is increased by 10% when attacking foes with an active debuff. Okay, so bleeds and things like that, I would presume. Step and Strike. After dodging, gain a 10% in power for the next 3 hits within 10 seconds. This effect only occurs when in combat. Attacks empowered by the effect restore 10 stamina on hit. Okay, so the theme is you use stamina for your heavy attacks, but you're gaining it back through your passives. And the end one is hitting foes reduces GreatSword's cooldowns. Light attack is 2%, heavy attack is 10%. Okay, so we can see really with them passives that this is a heavy attack tree. Let's have a look what we've got actually abilities. So we've got Crosscut. Slash 3 times in a quick sequence. 110 on the first, 130 on the second, 160 on the third hit. Enter Onslaught stance when this ability ends. Okay, so when it ends, not when it starts, when it ends. Okay. Unstoppable Cuts. Gain grit while performing Crosscut. In Defiant stance, gain stun immunity while performing Crosscut. Okay, so if you use a Defiant start and then use Unstoppable, then use Crosscut, you're gonna not be able to be stunned or anything like that, so the attack is going to go off. Okay. Cross Execution. Base damage of the final strike increased by 100% if the target is below 50%. In Onslaught stance, this threshold is increased by 75%. Okay. Relentless Rush. Dash through foes while spinning and applying 20% slow for 4 seconds. First hit 110, second 120. Enter Onslaught stance when this ability ends. Okay, so when the ability ends, you're going into Onslaught, so you can go into the next moves. Gain 10% in power for 10 seconds. That's quite cool. In Onslaught stance, Relentless Rush applies root to target if hit for 1 second. That's quite good for PvP. In Defiant stance, Relentless Rush heals for 15%. Okay. And the last one on this one is Relentless Refresh. Reduces ability cooldowns by 50% when you kill a foe. The effect has a 5-second cooldown. Okay. So that's not too bad. Skyward Slash. Swing up in a brutal arc, staggering your target, dealing 80% weapon damage and applying 2 stacks of 5% rend. In Onslaught start, apply 1 additional rend. Okay, that's quite cool. Enter Onslaught stance when this ability. Add a follow-up attack that deals 140% weapon damage, but activating the skill again or using a light attack. Okay. The first attack applies disease, which reduces healing. Oh, this is quite cool for a PvP skill. We're loving the anti-heal to kill the meta of healers. That's quite cool. The follow-up attack strikes all foes within 3. Oh, okay. So if they're all stacked up, you might actually get Sickening Slash on all of your foes, which is fairly handy in mutations as well. So yeah, that's quite a cool ability. Right, let's go over to Defiant Stance. Path of Defiance. Defiant Stance has the following properties. Damage taken reduced by 20. Outgoing damage reduced by 20. Guard point. Block incoming attacks while charging heavy attack. Okay, so while you're charging your heavy attack, you will block everything. So that's quite cool. Means you're going to get your heavy attack out, but it seems it's very heavy attack orientated, the Greatsword. So, okay, let's go through the passives. Hitting with the final attack of the Greatsword chain reduces the duration of the debuff on 10%, 5-second cooldown. Wary Posture. After gaining Defiant Stance, the next damage taken with 5 seconds is reduced by 25%. Blade Honing. Base damage is increased by 3%. Perfect Vigilance. If you are hit while at full health, reduce the damage taken by 20%, then gain 20% Fortify. Okay, Fortify, yep. Guarded Shift. Blocking for 2 seconds causes you to enter Defiant Stance, which is cool. Unflinching Blade. Charged heavy attacks have grit and inflict bleeding for 6 seconds, dealing 5% weapon damage. Okay, so there's a bleed. Arrow Deflection. Enabling blocking ranged attacks with a Greatsword, but increasing stamina damage from blocking any attack. Okay, so you can... muskets and arrows and stuff like that you can block. Faultless Defender. Reduce stamina damage by 50% when you're blocking attacks just after raising your guard or with guard point. Inflicts a 5% rend for 10 seconds. And the last but not least is Undying Defense. Heal for 5% of the damage from attack. Attacking within 3 seconds of blocking heals for 15% of the damage dealt. So if you attack just after blocking, you're getting more heals. Okay, let's go through the moves. What have we got? Calamity Counter. Block for 2 seconds while reducing block stamina damage taken by 90%. Then unleash a counter attack that strikes all foes within 4 meter radius. No block, 100% weapon damage. 1 block, 100% weapon damage. 2 blocks, 100% weapon damage and staggers longer. 3 blocks, causes a knockback. Okay, the ability has grit. Reactivation of this ability or use light attack to counter attack early. Enter Defiant Stance at the end. Cooldown 20 seconds. Okay. Counter attack inflicts bleeds. As you can see, won't go all through that. Critical Calamity. Counter attack crit chance increased by 20%. Okay. Steadfast Strike. Stab your Greatsword forward to impale your foes, then pull back and rip the blade. Restore 20 stamina on each hit. First hit 70% weapon damage. Second hit 120% weapon damage and pull target 1. Okay, so that's a pull towards you. This ability generates 150 threat. Okay, so not too bad to mix with Sword and Shield. If your first strike of Steadfast Strike hits, you are healed by 50% of the damage. Also, some bleeds if you're in Defiant Stance. Steadfast Refresh. If the second strike of Steadfast Strike hits, reduce the cooldown for all other Greatsword abilities by 20%. Okay, Roaring Rupture. Stab the ground and send out a shockwave 4 meters, 100% weapon damage, gain 8% Fortify. For 5 seconds for each foe in the hit. Okay, that's quite good. So you could technically get max Fortify with a load of enemies around. That's fine. This ability generates 200% threat and has grit. Enter Defiant Stance when this ability ends. Taunt gem capability. So it taunts. That is a really, really good one. I like that. So you could taunt everything in a radius. And yeah, 8% Fortify for each foe around you. So yeah, that'll work really well for your tanking spec. So that is a short overview of the Greatsword. Hopefully, you know, everybody can see this. I'll put the link in the description down below where you can have a look at this and look at this in more depth. But hopefully, yeah, that makes sense and you can enjoy the Greatsword that's coming. And there you go. There was the talent tree and abilities for the Greatsword that's coming. It's going to be a great patch. I can't wait for the Greatsword to come. A nice new weapon to level and try out. Hopefully everyone else is buzzing. If you like the content and you do want to support the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button and the like button. If you've got any comments, leave them in the comment section below, because I will get back to you. I will reply to all of them. And without further ado, I will end the video and see you on the next one.